So today in that first reading, there's a lot of big words there. But what's being said by St. Paul is that we need to allow the good news of Jesus Christ to just explode from us. If you look at these candles, I just noticed something really kind of interesting. What's the difference between the candles on this side, on the right side, and the candles on the left side? Do you see anything different? Yeah. One of them is on, and you know what? Both of them are on, but one of them seems to be so much brighter, right? And the other one seems to be so much littler. What do you think happened? This one's getting brighter? Yeah, why do you think those ones are so little right now? What do you think it's missing? What makes the flame go? Yes. Yeah, well, there's not enough oil, it seems, maybe in that one over there. And there's lots of oil in this one. They're the same candle, but when one of them has less amount, it's a little flame. When there's a lot of oil, it makes a big flame. And so we have to look within our own lives, what St. Paul is saying, and think about what are the things that take that oil away from us? And what are the things that are going to help put the oil in there? Just like imagine your mom and dad are driving their car, they go to a gas station, and they fill up the tank with gas, and then the car can go and go. But imagine if they don't fill up the tank with gas, what's going to happen to the car? It's going to go like this. And you'll be out of gas. So what are the things that maybe put little holes in the tank of our gas so then the gasoline goes away and then we can't drive? Or what are the ways in which maybe in that candle over there, there's not enough oil? And the saint that we remember today, Blessed Carlo Acutis, he's someone that can teach us something really, really important. He can remind us that there are so many good things in this world, but we have to know how to use them wisely. And we have to know when to use them. Now, Blessed Carlos, he was a teenager, and something that's really interesting about him is he liked video games. Have you ever heard of a saint who liked video games? That's kind of cool. I mean, I used to play video games. I loved playing Super Mario Brothers. You too? Okay, that's awesome. Okay, very cool. And Mario Kart, and The Legend of Zelda, and all these different really fun games. But there's something about video games that they're very good, many of them, but sometimes do we ever take a little bit too much time playing them? Do we ever get maybe mad when maybe mom and dad say, honey, it's time to do your homework right now, or it's time to eat? Have you ever gotten mad at your mom and dad and say, no, I have to keep playing this video game of Super Mario Brothers. I have to win, I have to win. And maybe it's like 5 hours later, and you're tired and you're hungry, but you're like, I still have to keep playing to win. Has anyone ever done that before? One more level, that's right, that's the worst. It's like, one more level, Mom, one more level, and there's like 5,000 more levels. Yeah, that's right, you guys know what I'm talking about. So, Blessed Carlo, this is what, he had a PlayStation, he had PS1. But he also recognized, and he loved playing his video games, but he started to recognize that sometimes he was playing a little too much. Has anyone ever played a little too many video games? Yeah? How do we feel after we play too many video games? Kind of feel like tired? do we kind of feel a little grumpy sometimes? It's kind of hard to maybe go to sleep sometimes when we have too much of something that might be good. And so Blessed Carlo recognized that playing too many video games actually was taking the oil out of his candle. Because if we think of our lives like a candle for Jesus, we want to be burning brightly like this candle, right? Because we want to shine the love of Jesus to others. But sometimes when we maybe take too much of a good thing, like video games, we can maybe put space for the video games in there, but not enough space for the oil to be able to allow us to burn brightly for Jesus. Maybe we get more grumpy if we play too many video games. Maybe we're not very good at sharing if we play too many video games, because maybe our brother or sister is like, I want to play right now. It's like, no, one more level. So Blessed Carlo, this is what he said. He said, I realize that my goal is heaven. And video games are a good thing if I don't do too much of them. And so I'm only going to play 1 hour of video games the whole week. Doesn't that sound that? Yeah, that's what he said, because he realized in his own life he was spending so much time with Mario that he didn't have enough time for Jesus. Think about who's more important. Mario is fun. He's a fun guy to hang out with. But is he a real guy? No, he's a video game. Jesus is saying, I want to spend time with you. And is he a real guy? Yeah. And so isn't that kind of silly that sometimes we spend more time with a fake person than with a real person? We spend more time with a cartoon character than with a real person. And Blessed Carlo is someone who teaches us about this. He said, I want heaven. And these things are very good, but I have to make sure that they always help me get to heaven. So that's a challenge for you guys. Think about, what's something that you have in your life that maybe you have maybe a little too much of, and maybe it's video games. Maybe it's food. Does anyone like food? Sometimes I have a little too much food. Like, I could eat a whole pizza by myself. Like a big pizza by myself. So I have to watch that sometimes. I could just keep eating and eating and eating. So I have to say, okay, I have to be careful of too much of a good thing. Because if we have too much of that, then maybe it gets in the way of our time with Jesus. So think about in your life, what's something that maybe is good, but maybe you spend too much time. Maybe it's good, but you spend more time with that than with Jesus. And maybe ask Blessed Carlo, this wonderful saint, how to be able to spend more time with Jesus than with that good thing. And what you'll find is the more time you spend with Jesus, you'll actually enjoy that thing more. You'll be able to really have fun with that, and it won't like melt your brain away. Have you ever had that experience when you're like playing so long and you're like, I can't think anymore? Have you ever had that experience before? I've had that before when I play like 7 hours in one day, and I was like, oh man, I can't even like think. So Jesus wants us to be able to experience life to the full, but he knows that we have to have a good balance in our lives. We have to make sure that Jesus is not just a piece of our pie, but he's the whole crust of the pie. We don't want to just say, well, I have my Jesus time, and then I have my other stuff, but we need to make sure that Jesus is not only the most important person in our life, more important than Mario, but he's actually everywhere in our life. So that even when we play our video games, we think about, am I playing a video game that is helping me follow God? Or am I playing a video game that maybe is, maybe is something that is maybe not good for me right now? And we always have to think about that and say, how do I focus on Jesus and then let everything else help me to that direction?